Hey friends, guess what we're doing today? We are cutting some dahlias together. There are so many blooms out here and there are a lot more to come because I see just buds all over the place. So we finally also made it to September. We have, what is it, 2nd of September when I record this video. So the temperatures cool a little bit, which the dahlias typically love. They are more like a late summer, early fall flower as long as it's not freezing. So they really enjoy the cooler temperatures. So I'll take you along for my cutting regimen, what I do, what I use, and why I use those. So yeah. So let me show you what I typically use to set up my flower cutting morning. I always use my little, it's just a shower caddy from Target. And in this shower caddy, I have 2 mason jars, and one is filled with dish soap and the other one gets filled with 10% bleach solution. So I just fill up 1/10 of the bottom with the bleach to then fill it up with water to have good disinfection in the flowers. Like when I cut the flowers and I dip the falcos every time after each plant in the bleach solution and then in the soap solution. You will see it when I'm going through. Then of course we need a bucket where we can put our flowers in. So that's the beautiful bucket from Gardener Supply. You'll see also everything linked in the description below as per usual. And then always like a bucket or top truck for the cut-offs and that I'm not just going and throwing everything out, which I've done before, which is not very well received from Mr. Ground in New England, so I'll try to be a little bit more organized. So that's what we do. So we'll fill everything up with water, like the bucket and the mason jars, and then we're ready to go. Let's talk a little bit about how we cut the dahlias. So number one, it's totally up to you, right? They're your flowers. You can do whatever you want. I'll tell you how I do it and why, and then you can see what you would like. I typically cut my dahlias very, very deep, which means I usually sacrifice a few stems on the top just to make sure that I encourage more branching out. That feels very hard in the beginning, especially if you just started growing dahlias, for example, but I promise you it will help to encourage more branching out in the plant. What it also helps is to keep the center of gravity rather low in the plant because it rather gets a dense base than like getting top heavy, which makes it here in our New England weather a little bit more stable for our wind conditions. And then of course you get stem length with it, right? So I had a few followers on Instagram asking me why they don't get the stem length, and then I had to tell them because you don't cut it to the length you want it, right? This is something what you should consider as well. And one thing which also feels really not necessarily logical in the first place, but it's true, is the more you cut, number one, the more flowers you get, but then also the more tubers you get from your dahlias, because the energy of the plant goes all into tuber production instead of growing a flower through the seed production or through pollen. From the moment a dahlia gets pollen, it takes a lot more energy up for the plant to maintain it and then switch over into seed production. That typically slows down the entire bloom production. So the best thing you can do for your dahlias is to harvest them often, and also deadhead them for the ones which are past. I typically let the dahlias I have, which are already past the point of a good base life, I leave them a little bit longer for the pollinators and just to enjoy them in the garden a couple more days. But then from the moment they start to like shrivel away, I definitely cut them and deadhead them. All right, let's start here with a beautiful Mocha Jake from Christine Albrecht, which I have here. Ooh, isn't that a cutie? I love it. This one is a teeny tiny little bit over already for vase life, but I don't care. I will enjoy it as long as I have it. So that's a beauty. Next one, a quick dip in our basket. There's some controversy with the bleach solution because it has a tendency to corrode your snips. But I can also tell you, when you dip them right away after in dish soap, the corrosion is usually not so bad. And you just got to keep your snips clean with some like Felco, like they have some cleaning stuff, which really makes it easy to maintain them. So for me, it's not a problem. But again, be your best judge on that one and use whatever you like. You got to have something what really sanitizes properly. So alcohol solutions, there is the risk personally, I think, for me, that you water them down too quickly to something which is not effective anymore. The bleach solution is a little bit of a more drastic solution, but it's effective. So that's why I like it. All right, let's go here with a Blizzard. And then from the moment I've cut them, I cut off everything else, usually strip the leaves into the bucket, and then into the flower bucket. All right, next one. I have a really, really cute seedling here, although the head is a little bit wobbly, but I really like its color. It's like a very, very faint, like peach, I would argue, or an apricot. Not sure if the lighting conditions here promote that today to see that properly, but yeah, but the wobbly head, I think it's a no. Nah. And for deadheading, I apply the same logic. I usually cut deep to promote more growth. And yeah, again, like every once in a while you lose a bloom, but again, it's for the better. Trust me on that one. Look at this beautiful Bloomquist compare here. You can see how deep I cut. So I usually go like 2 to 3 leaf nodes down. And you can see here that I'm sacrificing those little side shoots. Those little shoots are usually not very, very substantial. And typically when I'm at home and I have time, which this year, unfortunately, is really not the year for having time, but it is what it is. Usually I take those lateral shoots off when they're smaller. So I just like bend them over and they snap usually super easy off the plant, because those are never really nice flowers anyway. So they're like miniature versions of the real main bloom, which comes usually out of the middle. So for that reason, I usually take those ones off to give the main plant, again, more energy left and not producing things I'm not using anyway. So yeah, but that is how you get nice stems. You cut them. This is a great example of something what I typically deadhead. The flower in the middle has already pollen. The little ones on the sides really don't produce anything substantial. You can see it in the side comparison, right? So that is what I deadhead usually to just give the plant some energy back to push more blooms. And that is a Daisy Duke, and it's really cute. For ball dahlias, to cut them at a really great time is when you look at the plant from the back, that the petals are still flat, so they haven't bent over yet. And this is usually a really good moment, so they will still open in the vase a little bit more. And if you ever see me like snipping without cleaning in the middle, that is typically on the same plant. I do have a lot of different plants, so I have to dip a whole lot. And here is my Cozy Town section with all my baby cakes, which were my favorite one last year. They are just getting started, unfortunately, this year, so it's a little late, like everything this year. It's sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's full with blooms. I can't wait for them all to burst. I have here like 5 baby cakes and then 3 Cozy Town Gale, which I'll show you as well. Again, I cut them hard to not create, number one, broomsticks, but then also have some more branching. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? It's just at the right moment, so it will open in the vase a little bit more. This one. Here are the 3 together. Yeah. And they fade, like the more temperature changes, the more the color changes for them as well. They change to like they have a color spectrum from like pink to peach. It's really, really beautiful. My favorite still. Did I tell you how much of a sucker I am for white dahlias? I love them. Could just plant out a field of white ones. Although no, that's not true. I would miss my blush ones as well, but I love, love white ones. You can also mix them with everything, right? It's just gorgeous. The one I have here is a really, really small ball dahlia. It's called White Nettie. It's really, really cute. It has a rather compact plant habit, so it's not the greatest cut flower, but I love it anyway. Look at those ones. Aren't those pretty? That's the Cozy Town K. It's a really, really nice soft pink. It like fades out into the middle to a cream. This is such a super cute one. And it also has a nice size and a nice waist life. So yeah, and the plant is vigorous as anything I've seen so far from Cozy Town. Like, it produces non-stop blooms. And I can't wait to see how many tubers I get from this one. Neighbor started playing AC/DC. I hope you don't hear that in the audio, but oh boy. It's like before 9 in the morning. It's whatever. Here we have one of my favorites as well. This is the Sweet Natalie. A really, really cute one. Like very soft petals, soft blush. It's a really, really pretty one. And then every once in a while, it looks like I missed one for pinching. I'm like growing broomsticks. But that gets cut off as well to get some better branching for the stems, because look how short they all are. That is not usable for me. So again, if you see that differently, do it differently. Your garden, your rules. I got a really cute one from Steph from Hooked and Rooted Garden. Supposed to be a cream cassis. I'm not exactly sure if that's the variety. It's beautiful though, but it's short. Between my cut flowers, it's literally like, it feels like 1 or 2 levels lower and creeping around on the bottom. So that might get put into my normal flower bed over there, which is not meant for cut flowers next year. But I love them. They're really, really pretty though. This is the Cozy Town Gale. Oh, where can we put it? It's there. It's a very soft yellow. Sometimes it gets a little bit more like neon yellow. I'm not exactly sure which temperature causes this, but usually it's a really like soft yellow with a little bit of a peach dusting over it. This is all the dahlias we cut. Isn't it gorgeous? Next to each pretty flower bucket is always a bucket full of cutoffs. It's pretty much always like almost the same ratio. So don't be shy. Go cut your plants. They will thank you for it. So I hope this video was interesting for you, just to come along with me a little bit to see how I cut my dahlias on almost a daily basis, probably now in September, because they're shooting out so many blooms. It's really fun to do that in the morning. Always brings a smile to my face, and I don't call those buckets for nothing buckets of happiness. It's really what brings me a lot of joy to deck out the house with all my flowers and give a whole bunch also to family and friends away. So if you have any questions, let me know below. Always happy to answer any type of questions, and then otherwise subscribe and watch another video. Thank you.